Now, let's turn away from India. Of course, there's much more information online should you want to see it. But we're going to turn to Los Angeles because it was the Oscars last night. And with a global pandemic, Hollywood's biggest awards ceremony was done a little differently, as you'd expect. The big winner of the night was this woman. Chloe Zhao became the first Asian woman and only the second woman ever to win Best Director at the Academy Awards. Her film Nomadland also picked up Best Picture and the Best Actress prize. Critics say the themes of the film struck a chord with audiences in the pandemic. Larushka Ivanzeta is the chief film critic for the Metro newspaper.
It's about this woman, a widow, who is forced into homelessness and travels across the states. And she's living this life of isolation and grief. And I think that, you know, in terms of the pandemic and the things that we've all been facing, this image of this resilient woman struggling with isolation, with grief, and ultimately a very hopeful film which relies on the kindness of strangers. I think it just has really struck a chord. For me, it is the great film of the pandemic era. Chloe Zhao making history as only the second woman ever to win Best Director and the first woman of colour to win Best Director. She's got her trademark style here, which is that she works mainly with a non-professional cast, apart from Frances McDormand, which gives a real authenticity to her film, which just gets in amongst these communities, really gets to know them, and it has a kind of very tangible quality to it because of that.
So a Chinese director making history. You'd think Chinese media would be celebrating, but it's been met with silence. It's been censored on Weibo, a popular social media platform in China. When you type in Nomadland, the page says, sorry, there are no results for Nomadland. Here's another example. The hashtag Nomadland received 6 Oscars nominations, has also been censored. Bear in mind, in February, Chloe Zhao was hailed as the pride of China by the state-run Global Times. So what's happened? Well, a nearly decade-old interview with Zhao has made her the target of a nationalist backlash. She described being a teenager in China as being in a place where there are lies everywhere. Just one news outlet, the Global Times, has broken the silence on her win with an editorial. Let's speak to Kerry Allen, China media analyst at BBC Monitoring. Kerry, what does the editorial say?
Well, the editorial uses very strong language and says that she should be more and more mature. It very much draws on the idea that because she's in the US, she should act as an ambassador for China and work closely with the two countries. So she should almost be more politically involved in her role. That's very much the message. But yeah, there's very much been a kind of undermining of her success in China's media today. So a real emphasis on the Oscars being a platform for political correctness and diversity. This comes out in the Global Times editorial. And yeah, not a lot of praise. I mean, Global Times says that it's good that she received an Oscar, but it doesn't offer glowing praise. And there have been a number of articles that have been taken down talking about how she's made history. So there's been evidence of censorship in that respect.
Is she very well known in China?
She is, yes. Not too much because, I mean, she specialises in American films. But, I mean, there are pages devoted to her talking about her history. And, yeah, only a few months ago, she was known as the pride of China. It's very much related to these comments that she made in 2013. And there is this cancel culture in Chinese society that if you said anything critical about the government or about the country, it could go against you.
And can you see Nomadland in China?
No, you can't at the moment, no. So it was scheduled for release, what was it, earlier this month, yeah, but it's been cancelled. And I think partially because of these comments, there's the potential that there will be scenes cut. We have seen this before with American films and with Chinese films, that they need to undergo rectification work. So scenes will suddenly be pulled. And there is one scene in particular that's like a screen grab, which very much focuses on the idea of her saying this is dedicated to those who had to leave.
And I'm going to jump in there. Thank you very much indeed. Very useful. Kerry ends this edition of the programme. See you soon.